since the said nominee was yet to be officially committed to the Committee on Appointment, as highlighted in Section 7, Subsection 1 of the Public Appointments County Assembly Approval Act number 5 of 2017. Therefore, I will want to inform the public that this Committee on Appointments is properly placed to proceed with the vetting of these two nominees, that is in our case, Malel, that we heard this morning, and the Honorable Rob, who is before us, as per the provisions of the County Government Act 2012, Public Appointments County Assemblies Approval Act number 5 of 2017, and court order that we have in our records. So thank you for that. The reason why, of course, we were making that communication is that it was important to clarify to the members of the public, because we realize that we have been receiving a lot of inquiries on why we are doing two nominees and not the three. So that was for purposes of the public, so not because we have been on recess, a long, short recess, and we thought it fit as a committee to inform the public and all the stakeholders. So, Honorable Rob, you are welcome. Before I give you a chance to introduce yourself, this communication, of course, I know you are aware that you are here having been nominated to be the CC in charge of trade by the governor, who is the appointing authority, and you are here as a result of should you be approved by this house, they will be referred to your former colleagues who were fired because of one or two issues with the executive, which I don't want to deal or to delve with that. I take this opportunity then to welcome the members of the public. I guess these either your constituents, your friends, your supporters, your church members, or family, and I want to take this opportunity to welcome them so that they can also witness the proceedings at this county assembly. I welcome you, the guests in the public gallery. Your work is just to follow the proceedings, and you will not be allowed, of course, to comment. That is as per the traditions of the assembly. And therefore, we will go straight. The Honorable Rob, I want to believe you have now settled and comfortable. Will be an interactive session. Feel free, of course, just to remind you on the oath that you took, that whatever you will share with us as a committee shall be the truth and nothing but the truth. Okay, I'm being notified by the honorable majority that oh yes, so you know I almost had else, which was, but that the documents have been checked, cross-examined by the leader of majority, and all the documents before us are valid. I almost had a word that maybe would have shocked the nominee, but I can confirm that the documents have been checked and everything is in order, and therefore we are ready to proceed. So Jackson, the Honorable Rob, karibu sana. I will request you that you will introduce yourself, and of course, having been a public officer before, having been a politician, and currently, I think you are also a public officer somewhere, or a state officer at Rent Tribunal. I think so. I'll request you to introduce yourself comprehensively, so that we may avoid asking you the normal and the simple questions. Of course, in your introduction, we'll touch about you, yourself, family, who are you, who is this Honorable Jackson Rob that has been nominated to be the CEC for Trade and Industrialization, and it's a long docket, and I know you know that. So maybe when you are ready, you can proceed, the Honorable Jackson Rob.
Thank you, Chair. Chair and honorable members, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for according me this opportunity to appear before you as a nominee for trade, industrialization, cooperative management, tourism, and wildlife CEC member. Jackson Kipkorirov is my name. Born and brought up from a village, small village in Chilchila called Kapkures. Went to school at Koisagat Primary School, but I was born in 1964, thereabout, because you know those days no records, no birth, records were being kept. But what my dad told me was that I was born in May 1964. I grew up in that village, Kapkures village, which is in Koisagat sub-location, Chilchila location, and Chilchila division. Went to school at Koisagat Primary and did my CPE in 1981, which I scored a paltry 31 points. Then we were rating at 36, and was enabled me to join Kericho High School for my O-level. I should have said I'm married and I have children.
Very important, even you also tell us the number of wives that you have.
I'm married to one wife. I'm married to one wife, and we are blessed with 5 children, 3 boys who are adults, and 2 girls who are still under my armpits. As I was saying, I did my CP in 1981 and went to Kericho High School for my O-level training or schooling, which I also did the KCE, Kenya Certificate of Education, then in 1985, which I got Division 3 of 34. I missed Division 2 by 1 point. I proceeded to Sigor High School in Bomet County, where I did maths, geography, and economics. That is A level. And in 1987, I sat for the KACE. It is called the advanced level certificate. It was called A level then. From there, Honorable Chair, I proceeded to India in 1988 because I missed the university entry points by 2. So I had to look for other ways of survival in terms of academics. And I went to India to pursue a degree in commerce. I was lucky to have been admitted to a university called, then it was called Bhopal University when I was joining, but later on it was changed to Pargatula University, which is in Bhopal. It is in Madhya Pradesh state of India, where I pursued a Bachelor of Commerce and eventually majored in accounting, taxation. I did graduate in 1991 with a Bachelor of Commerce accounting option, second class. They call it second division. They have no upper, no lower. It was just the second division. So I got a second division in Bachelor of Commerce. I also, during my tour of studies, I did a diploma course during the evening classes, and at an institute, and got a diploma in computer science and applications, where you are doing programming, the Excel, the Word, and several other packages that came with it. After that, Chair, I came back home and submitted my credentials at the Public Service Commission. Those days when you are a graduate, you are bringing your papers, take them to Public Service Commission, fill a form, but you will not specify the kind of job that you want. So I did so, left. Apparently my elder brother, a lecturer at Chekwat, was the then provincial mining commissioner in Western Province in the mining department. So I joined him in Kakamega, where while I was taking a student to school, a school called Chebiusi, the principal asked me, where am I and what am I doing? I told him I've just graduated and I have no job. What have you done? I told him I've done commerce, and he said, we are lacking a commerce teacher because the teacher had just been promoted to Mosoria Teachers College. Can you please come and assist us? I just got a job of BOM teacher at Chebiusi High School in Western instantly, and served at that institution for 1 year. That is the whole of 1992 as a BOM. They used to call it POG teacher then. So thereafter, I saw a list of successful candidates who had been shortlisted to appear for an interview at Public Service Commission of Kenya in around August 1992. I went for the interview. I was interviewed, and subsequently, December 1992, I was among the successful candidates, and I was posted, and I was one lucky accountant. I was posted to 2 ministries at the same time. I got one appointment letter taking me to Ministry of Education as an accountant too, and another one taking me to Treasury as an accountant too. So naturally, when you hear of Treasury, I opted to go to Treasury, not knowing that Treasury were being taken to field. So then the posting of accountants were done through Office of the President. So I was posted to Office of the President as an accountant too, and was appointed, given a temporary appointment on probation terms, and posted to Narok district as an accountant too. That is 1993. I went to Narok in 1993 January after an induction course, the first induction course that we did at the Kenya Institute of Administration, then currently the government training college. So I was posted to Narok as an accountant too, where I served in civil service as an accountant. And while I was in that district treasury, I was, during the staff allocation of duties, I was made the accountant in charge of pay and accounts. When I talk of pay and accounts, I'm talking of the cash office, where we make payments, where we receive revenue. So I was in charge of revenue, I was in charge of payments in the treasury, and I was checking the cash books, both the receipts and the cash book, and making sure that the entries are correct or correctly posted. So that is what I played, the major role that I played in Narok until towards around 1998, thereabout. I was appointed and on an acting capacity as a deputy district accountant. In 1999, I was transferred from Narok to Lugari. There was a new district that had been created in Western Kenya called Lugari District. I was posted there substantively as a deputy district accountant. And while there, the role of a deputy district accountant is you are the overseer of all the staff. You are like the training officer. You also take care of all the accountable documents of the government, and you check and ascertain that all the entries are done well, and the reconciliations especially. In fact, that is a major role that the deputy plays, must see that the reconciliations are done up to date. And that was a job that I really loved most, reconciling bank vis-a-vis the cash book. Because a good manager, if you want to be a manager, you must understand the transactions that are taking place in the bank, and that is in your book. Because if you are not careful, if you are not doing the reconciliations, you could lose a lot in bank without knowing. So I was the deputy accountant from 1999 to 2003, when I was promoted after attending an answer interview at Public Service Commission of Kenya. I was promoted as an accountant 1 and posted to Nandi East, Nandi South. Then it was called Nandi South District. It was a newly created district in early 2003 after the elections, and headed the district treasury in Nandi. In fact, I came to a treasury that was starting from the scratch. There wasn't anything, no personnel, no equipment, no nothing. And here you have been posted to a station, and those accounting services must take effect instantly, because now the AI holders were going to Kapsabet to be served. So, but I want to thank God, because immediately I moved in, I was very much conversant about the IFMIS system and how to post the payments in our computers. So the first thing I did was to source for a computer from the head office, came and sat myself, asked the DC to give me clerks, and trained them on what to do. Those who are doing the examination, those who are doing the field book entries, I showed them how to make the entries. But I was the final person to enter them in the computer for purposes of reimbursement at the Treasury. And from the good relationship that I had in Treasury, I was more staff was posted to me almost instantly, and the district started operating. I served in Nandi South briefly. Then later on they broke the Nandi South. It moved to Kobujoy. Then another one, Tinderet. I remained in the central, which was called Nandi East, up to 2012. Early 2012, around February, I was transferred, not promoted, to Kapsabet, the senior district, the headquarters then of Nandi County, as the district accountant, where I served for a paltry around 8 or so months, because in September, around 4th of September, I resigned in 2012 to join politics. Fortunately or unfortunately, after resignation, I went, looked for votes, talked to the people, convinced them, because I had a vision for the constituency, and I emerged the winner in 2013 general elections as a member of parliament, Kipkelion West. Then Kipkelion had been subdivided. It was no longer the big Kipkelion, it is West and East. So I was the first member of Kipkelion West, first member of parliament. So I was elected in 2013 and served the good people of Kipkelion as a servant leader. I, as a Christian, believe in service delivery. And I said I will never be a boss to my bosses. I'm ready to offer my services as a servant. And I served very well in the 4.5 years or so that we were in parliament. In fact, it was the shortest parliament ever in the history of Kenya. While in parliament, I was appointed to 2 committees. The committee on natural resources, environment and natural resources, and the public accounts committee, where I served under Honorable Babu Namwamba when he was the chair, for about 2 years or so. And then in 2016, there was a reshuffle. There was a problem in members, members had a problem with the chair. The chair was removed and this vice chair. So I don't know, out of luck, when the chair was elected, members proposed me unanimously as the vice chair, Public Accounts Committee. So I held that docket for the remaining period of about 1.5 years or so while I was in Parliament. And in this docket, I got a lot of exposure because we were handling issues audit. When you do your budget, the last one is the audit issues, when we are being evaluated for what we have done, how expenditures have been incurred. And those audit queries could land as they are landing in this committee, especially the accounts committee in the county assembly. So I was in a position to interact with all the accounting officers of ministries. And we did a good job. In fact, the public accounts then was the public accounts. And I think that is where people got to know who Rob was, because I could stand where I see this is where I'm expected to be. And I did my job fairly and freely. Thereafter, in 2017, we went for the elections. I know I was popular, but votes are votes. So eventually I lost. I lost and I accepted. It is good when you have lost, just accept. So when I accepted and remained at home, then leadership so fit that I should be posted, I should be appointed as a board member. I was lucky to have been appointed to LAF Fund. This is a local authority provident fund as a trustee or a board director. I joined that board in February 2019. Went through some training, because when you are appointed a director to any pension fund, there must be some trainings that you have to undertake for you to manage the resources, because it's a pension fund, to manage the resources well. So we were taken as a committee for a training at the Kenya College of Insurance, and did a trustee, it is called a trustee development course, which was very tough. 5 days, you are reading a topic today, you are taught in the morning, by 4 it is done, you go and read the first thing in the morning, 2 hours, an exam. Fortunately, I passed the exam. After that, we were also taken for another course on corporate governance. This is also a requirement that you must be trained on corporate governance. So we went for a course in Mombasa for 5 days again, which was also examinable. The beauty for that one was you are reading, you are doing the training the whole week. The last day is the exam day for 3 hours. Chair, though I was not given an award, I was pronounced as the best, as number 2. There was a gentleman from Posta Pensions Fund who was number 1, and I was number 2 in performance in that training. Thereafter, Chair, things went haywire. County Workers Union had gone to court to protest the non-appointment in the board of their representatives. And which is true, the law is clear that they should have members from the Workers Union representing them in the board, at least 2. So there wasn't. We were all from other sectors. So the court listened to them and accepted. So we were stayed. And unfortunately, the stay was forever. We found ourselves out by October 2020. We had been removed. So virtually, I should say I got a good training in LAF Fund, but I didn't exercise that training. I didn't have an opportunity to really hover something pertaining to what I had learned. In 2022, Honorable Chair and members, I have contested again. I wanted to try my luck. You know, once a politician, you are always a politician. So I wanted to try my luck again to see whether the people of Kipkelian West still really wanted me. Unfortunately, I was doing so well. I must say I was also doing so well in 2022. But as I said earlier, politics is politics. So eventually, when the nominations were done, I found myself knocked out. Reason, ballot papers for my ward, Chilchila, and he is a victim. He was a victim. He was a victim because ballot papers were less in where I came from. So it affected the MCA, it also affected me. So eventually I was defeated, and I still accepted and said, let me now retire to farming and just take care of my children, because my children were all of them. In fact, for your information, Chair, when I lost in 2017, it is not easy, members, when you lose an election and you have spent all the resources and all your children are in school. In fact, I remember when I was at home in 2018, all my children were in all schools. When you talk of university, I was there. When you talk of college, I was there. When you talk of secondary, I was there. When you talk of primary, I was there. And I was in nursery. So it was not easy. It was not easy, honorable members. And I thank God for keeping me.
And even you also you must have also been expecting another than doing that.
I had to deny myself because now I found the burden becoming too much. So in 2022, when I lost, I accepted and I decided to retire to do farming. I reside occasionally in Eldoret, where I have my residential place, and of course home, where my wife is. No, I say occasionally. I'm using the term okay, so that whenever things are not, when you know, as a politician, sometimes the temperatures become too high at home, so you have to run away and hide somewhere. So occasionally I am there, but I'm a resident, of course, of Chilchila, Fortanan.
Let's maintain silence and consult in law terms.
Thank you, Chair.
Members. And secondly,
thank you, Chairman.
It's only true that you only speak through the Chair. The Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks for that correction. Yeah. Now, Chair, in June 30th last year, His Excellency the President accorded me again an opportunity to serve the nation as a tribunal member. This is a position that I'm holding up to now. I'm a member of Business Premises Rent Tribunal. I was appointed on a Kenya Gazette of 30th June 2023 and sworn in July 12th, 2023. That is the position that I'm holding up to now as a tribunal member. And when we talk of a tribunal, this tribunal deals majorly on businesses. This rental business. If you have a business, you have a premise that you are renting out for someone to do business. Our role is to protect that tenant that is staying in your business. You might decide to do the same business and see that this man must move because now he has the goodwill of the people. Let me start the business or pursue the business the person has been doing. And when we look at it and find that you had bad intentions when you're asking him or her to move, we will rule in favor of the tenant. So we are operating under Cap 301 of the laws of Kenya. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Jackson Drop. I think that was a very comprehensive introduction, and mainly you have touched on areas that we were to ask or maybe to get verification from you. From your introduction, I realized that you are both lucky and very unlucky. of course, you are lucky to be a member of parliament and you serve the people of Kukalian West. Secondly, you are unlucky again when they decided to vote you out. And again, you are lucky, you are appointed to be a director lab fund. Again, you became unlucky, they went to court. And then again, you vied, you lost, became unlucky. Then you became lucky again. You are appointed by His Excellency the President to be among the board of Rent Tribunal. And then again, very, very lucky that you have been nominated again to be the CEC in charge of trade. So your life has been through up and down. Of course, having seen your CV, you are a seasoned public officer, as well as also a state officer, having been the member of parliament and now being in those other institutions. I only wanted to comfort you that you are not the only one who have lost elections. The chairman, you as truly before you also lost an election. The only difference between me and you is that I didn't have children at the university or college or secondary school or primary. But of course, I was working so hard to increase the population then. And I was also unlucky at that point in time. But I was lucky too when this County Assembly, honorable members, voted for me to be the speaker. It's just, you've narrated the story, and I thought I should share that we are both lucky and unlucky. But I've seen you are very lucky more than me. So I'll open the floor. I don't have much from my end to really ask you, but I'll give it in order. I'll give to the majority first, and then I'll give to the Honorable Dominic. Dominic, oh yes, the Honorable Paul Chirchir is here. Please introduce yourself first.
Thank you very much, Chairman, and good afternoon, members and nominee, Honorable Jackson Rob.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Honorable Jackson Rob, on being nominated to the docket of trade, industrialization, CECM. This committee wishes you nothing but the very best. My name is Paul Chirchir Talimba. I am the MCA for Kapsowit Ward and a member of the Appointments Committee. Thank you, Chair.
All right. Thank you, the Honorable Paul Chirchir. So, the leader of majority. Then we go to Honorable Dominic, and then I'll go to the Honorable. I'll go to Honorable Maritime first, and then I'll come to Honorable Cheriot bit. In that order, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mine, maybe before I pose a question, Chair, is to congratulate Honorable Jackson Rob for finding or being lucky to be appointed the CC for trade by His Excellency the Governor. And second is to welcome you maybe to this panel, though you had been welcomed before by the Chair. Let me also take this opportunity to welcome you. Feel free. It's an interactive session between you and us. And maybe the first question, and I think you will be writing down because I have several questions to pose before you. The first one, in the process now of being lucky and unlucky, this issue now of becoming lucky to be appointed, how did you find yourself to be that today you are before the County Assembly Appointments Committee? Is it that maybe you were a friend to the appointing authority, or maybe he sympathizes maybe with the several unlucky presidents that came before being lucky now? Maybe you will explain to this committee how you find yourself. Number two is that your fellow CECs that are serving, I will not I'll not call the fellow CECs because you've not been maybe given green belt of light by this committee. the CCs that are serving. His Excellency the Governor Dr. Eric Mutai, before giving the opportunity to those people, he had established a committee or a panel to look into the people that were going to be appointed, the CCs, before they were sent to the county assembly. And in this scenario now, I think you were given special category. No panel was appointed, maybe to check and be cross-examine you before they send the name to this county assembly. What might have happened? Is it maybe because of friendship? Maybe because of, maybe you are a relative? Maybe in that case, Honorable Jackson Rob, you will maybe declare interest if such thing is there. Number two, we've gone through your CV and we've gone through your professional certificates and the likes. And you've been nominated to the Department of Trade, and the areas of study and the areas where you've worked majorly from the CV and from what you've explained, you are very rich in finance and accounting, more so the taxation bit. But you've been appointed to the Department of Trade, Industrialization, including even wildlife. So can you relate your working experience as an accountant to the portfolio you've been appointed to? Number two is whether maybe from where you've worked or where you've studied, have you been given any honor or award? And if there, kindly make sure you list to us. And number three, I have not seen, maybe after going through your testimonials and professional certificates, I have not seen one. Maybe you'll remind me if maybe in the process of checking, maybe I didn't get it. Are you a member of any professional body or any professional association? And if any, you can please make sure you list to us. Number three, membership. I don't know whether you are a member of any organization. If it is, kindly you'll also make sure that you facilitate this committee with it. On issues of public office, political activities and affiliation, list chronologically any public offices you have held, though you've mentioned during your introduction, and I have seen you've mentioned the ones that you are holding now. Have you ever been, maybe before, though that one, many people keep it silent. You see, we've seen your resignation letters from the public service and the likes. Maybe in between, because this committee will have all the powers maybe to write to those institutions. Have you ever been dismissed or otherwise removed from office for contravention of provision of Article 75 of the Constitution? And the last one, Chair, if not second last chairman, have you ever been adversely associated with the practices that depict bias, favoritism, or nepotism, more so when you are discharging your public duties? And number three, Chairman, though I know being an honorable member, you've done a lot of charitable works in terms of Arambes and other donations. Have you ever in any way do pro bono works, more so maybe to the people you've been representing or otherwise? If they are, kindly please list to us. Thank you very much, Chair.
All right, thank you so much. Before I go to Honorable Dominic, because I'm seeing there's a huge set of engagement. I think the Honorable Robert will be fair.
Yeah.
We give it to you first, And you can just respond to it, of course, briefly, but with facts. And then we can proceed to the other honorable member. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. The first question is how I found myself in this honorable house, and what relationship do I have with the appointing authority. The position was not advertised, so really I was not called upon to appear before a panel to be interviewed, to be tested, and proved whether I'm in a position to hold the docket that I've been given. But nonetheless, I want to agree with you, or say I have no relationship with the appointing authority, that is the governor. But he knows me through the campaigns that we had. When he was going around the county, he happened to have been in Kipkelian West severally. I was also contesting, and definitely using his wisdom and of course his intelligence, he must have found a man called Rob who did a marvelous, a splendid job when he was a member of parliament, and felt that I can have him in my cabinet to help me, improve the performance of the department. That is my thinking. And you have gone ahead to ask me that I'm trained in the field of accounting and finance, and now I'm being posted to trade. I did economics in A-level, and we are all in the business of trade, whether you are trained or not trained. Today, some transactions have taken place here. So there was an exchange of money for something. So trade is taking place continuously, whether you are trained in that field or not. And being an experienced accountant in the public service, I remember I've stated that majorly I worked in the revenue section, and the revenue section is about generating money to the nation. And I know the controls that are supposed to be put in place to help this county generate more revenue, so that we can be in a position, to spur the development of the county. I have what it takes when it comes to sitting and setting some direction strategically, using the existing tools, the officers that are in the department, the plans that has been put in place to give direction, the leadership direction that that department requires. I believe I have the ability to go see where they are now, what were they planning, where are they intending to go as per the strategic plan that I've seen, and what are we going to use to reach there. So as a trade CEC, I will really work around the clock to see to it that we improve, because it is about exchange of goods and services, and this department is a catalyst to all others in terms of value addition. Agriculture cannot exist.
Chair, the interjection, Chair.
Yes, the Honorable Chair. Please allow that the Honorable. Yeah, proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe, Chair, as the Honorable Member is proceeding, I think the question that was asked by the Majority Leader was very clear, that you relate the position that you be nominated to with your background and experience, maybe to remind the nominee, Chair, that the County Government Act, Section 35, Part 3, and I can, for the benefit of the member, maybe I can read, Chair, that a person that has been appointed as a member of the County Executive Committee member, that person must have knowledge, experience, and a distinguished career in that field. It's not about buying and, trade is not about buying and selling of goods. Otherwise, every other person will have been nominated to that docket. Correct. So the person that must be nominated in that docket must have that distinguished career of not less than 5 years in the field that is relevant to your portfolio. So I just want to
thank you for the correction.
The nominee chair really speak to that part of the constitution, because it is a requirement. Otherwise, any other person will have been picked. In fact, the governor will have gone to town. In fact, there are people who are doing great business in town at the Mamambogas and the border guys, because they are doing great trade in town.
I get you. I get you, Honorable Member.
So let him relate
my experience.
Okay. Especially trade, industrialization, cooperative management, tourism, and even the wildlife, because these are matter departments that need someone who has specific knowledge, especially in those fields. Because going by your CV and your training, you've done much in finance. I mean, you are an accountant. So now that you've been given a different portfolio, so finally relate.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you for the correction, Chair.
Yes.
I want to agree that probably I disgraced Kidogo, but I want to say my training, especially when I was, and this is an area I skipped when I was doing the introduction. I did a master's in business administration, the executive part of it. The executive in the sense that it is meant for managers, people who are holding positions in offices, big positions. And that training really helped me a great deal to widen my knowledge, because it is all about management. I've done financial management, I've done enterprise management, I've done marketing, I've done information technology. It is all inclusive. It is about management. So really the skills that I've attained from the training will really help me to boost the performance in that department of trade.
In fact, that was my next question.
Yes.
Because the same County Government Act, Chapter 35, requires that any person to be nominated in this position, that is Part B, must hold at least a degree from a university that is recognized in Kenya. And number two,
yes,
a part of the experience also. And I wanted to ask about these masters, executive masters.
Correct.
So you will maybe educate us a little bit concerning the executive masters and for your first degree, because as you were giving your explanation, you said that you missed university entry by 2 times in Kenya.
Correct.
Then you went to a university in India, maybe to do bridging or what. And now that there is this Commission of University Education that normally informs that the qualification that you get in that other country.
The Kenya National Qualifications Authority.
Yes, it's the same as a degree, maybe in a university in Kenya. So if we can also, Chair, get something that shows that that degree is valid in Kenya, we'd be very grateful also. And maybe to educate us a little bit on this executive master's degree.
Okay. So
yes,
before you proceed, the Honorable Rob, so I hope you have noted everything that the Honorable members have raised. I'll still request that you will stick to what you have been asked, and if you will respond in a brief manner,
correct,
the committee shall appreciate. And you don't skip maybe anything that needs to be clarified. You can proceed. Rob.
Thank you, Chair. degree that I pursued is Bachelor of Commerce. And Bachelor of Commerce, though I specialized in accounting, entails all the trainings that is required even in this particular ministry. The other MBA course that I went or that I pursued is another advantage. It even widened my knowledge because I did a lot of issues to do with corporate finance, corporate management, financial management, you know. And this degree, as I initially shown, was that it was meant for those people who are already in service and in higher positions of management. So to widen your knowledge in management of the affairs of the institution that you are sitting on, you ought to attain that degree. And it is offered at Mo University, Eldoret. That is where I sat my degree. Honorable members. I have not been given any honor or any awards. I'm also not a member of a professional association.
Yes, there is a question that you have skipped. Maybe you can.
The question concerning the first degree.
Your first.
Yes.
I've said the first degree I did it from India, and this is the same degree that has fed me all through. When I was appointed as an accountant too, with the Ministry of Finance, that is the paper that I presented, the degree from India. And I think the Public Service Commission then, because I know this Kenya National Qualifications Authority was constituted recently in 2015, to be precise. So then they must have been having ways and means of doing background check. And definitely they knew the universities that are accredited or that are accepted in the nation. And that is why I was given that position.
Because here, why I'm asking this here,
yes,
is that the degree that is in your documentation,
yes,
we cannot read. They are written in.
Yeah, in fact, I was in an Hindu state, and in the Hindu state, there is a translation. The English part down there is a translation of the Hindu language that is up there. It is a big document. It's a big. When you look at it, it is really big. But it is translated. It is Hindu versus English, because I was in an Hindu state, and you know that is their law.
Okay, because yeah. I was seeing the same degree. The symbol is the one for Raila Odinga, where is a lot of writing. So,
not really.
You know, there have been issues too. You know why we are asking is because we've had issues that, for example, Raila Odinga has never gone to, does not have a degree, you know, because of those writings. So when I look at the one for Rob, I know he's a good man. I wanted to get information further whether that degree has been validated by the Kenyan.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah,
it has been. That is why I went through public service for 2 years.
Maybe just to clarify on that is that the one for the former Prime Minister, we cannot really talk about.
And no,
about it so much.
What the nominee has said.
Is a translation.
Yeah, there is a translation here that reads in English. Whereas Jackson Kipkorir has undergone studies in the prescribed course in the following subjects as a regular student of the name of university is
Bargatula University.
Bargatula
University. Yeah.
And has passed the examination for the degree of Bachelor of Commerce, unified course held in the year 1991. I suppose that time I was only 3 years in second division. Therefore, he has been admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce of this university.
Yes.
Subjects: number 1, foundation course, applied economics and statistics, accounting, income tax, and the 4th one, business management, auditing. Specialized subjects are accounting, taxation. think that it is interpreted.
All right, I think honorable members, several times we will circulate the degree, that is the certificate, is it? I can see that you are in love with the writings, but the most important thing is the content. And I think the nominee has clarified that that degree is the one that was used to employ him, first employment long time ago. The only thing that I wanted to say about it is that the Honorable Cheriot, you know, we cannot speak about the one for former Prime Minister Raila Odinga because we have not had a chance as a committee to cross-examine or to look at it, that degree. And therefore the one that we can speak about is the one for the nominee, Jackson Drop. We will consult behind the tent the Honorable Paul Chirchir later, because the Honorable former Prime Minister, as he is just confirming that he was somewhere in Russia or in Japan. And I want to assume and conclude that the Prime Minister former must be a friend to the Honorable Paul Chirchir of Kapsuit, and we will find out that later after this session. So the Honorable Ogony, I don't know, is it a rejoinder? Because I'm finding it difficult.
Chairman, actually what the Honorable Member read out is what I was going to read, but it is now clarified. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Proceed now. Yes, the Honorable Paul.
Just so that he can actually put the questions together. Chairman, I did not, and you should not allude that we are friends with Raila. We are not. I am a member of UDA. Raila is a member of Azimio. So let it be on record. He is not my friend. I am a friend of the president and the patron of and the chairman of UDA.
I stand guided. The
Thank you.
Paul. All right.
So I just want to ask a few questions so that you can answer as you answer the other ones, because that will guide us. Chairman, Honorable Rob, just tell us briefly the functions of the trade, industrialization, cooperative management, tourism, and wildlife in county government. Just briefly. Just maybe in bulletin 4.
Bulletin 4.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Proceed, the Honorable Rob.
Thank you, Chair. The functions of trade, to industrialization, cooperative management, tourism, and wildlife. One of the main function of trade is revenue collection. And we do revenue collection through licensing, business permit licenses. We have the market license or market fees. We also have, because it is under trade, the weights and measures fees. Those are the major source of revenue in trade. Currently, when I look at it, it is a major source of revenue. Business licensing is the major one that is contributing a lot to the revenue docket in this county. When we come to industrialization, in fact, industrialization is just one and trade. But currently, with the Kenya Kwanza government, you remember there is an issue of the 47 counties getting the aggregation industrial park, which we are lucky as Kericho that ours is just starting at Soin, Kapsarok. Actually, it is at the foundation stage. And I believe when that project is completed, it will turn around the economy of this county and the nation at large. So that is the major part in terms of industrialization. Of course, there is another issue that that is still going on. we call it Jelimo. That is a new name, Kevogo, something like that, something like that. But there is still that public participation in terms of land issues. Once it is settled, we will also have a manufacturing plant
Chairman,
in that place.
I just said in a bulletin form, just
Yeah.
functions.
So
Just,
I've-
so I will move very fast.
So I was just mentioning something about industrialization, because once it picks, we will have a lot in that department. We talk of cooperatives. The cooperatives does a lot in terms of managing the societies for both tea, coffee, and even the circles. Yes, in this county. And that has really helped in terms of revenue generation, because all over, you go to Kipkelion, we have coffee cooperative circles. You come here, there is tea circle. And then tourism is a new field. And I was like, there is a policy that is yet to be passed that will help us enhance tourism in this county. But nonetheless, we have caves like the Pakao caves, though it is still in private land, like the Chebulu down there, where we can watch papoons and what have you. We are still we will negotiate about the issue of land, so that those areas tourism can really pick. And this is a county that we can even use the tea estates. We can have people coming to watch, to travel in the estate and look at what the goodness that we have in this county. Wildlife is also another department that is still being held elsewhere. It's not fully devolved so far, but we will work together, because the officers are here. Because I cannot access the forest if I don't have the wildlife and then even the KFS people, so that we can see how we can have a mapping of this zone so we can use for tourism. Thank you.
All right. Yes, the Honorable
I
Majority.
don't know, Chair, whether he has exhausted answering my questions.
No, I have not.
Okay. So you can continue.
Yes, I will continue with yours. You have asked me whether I'm a member of any organization.
And you just list it. You don't have to explain exactly.
All right.
You can list it. Will be, if any, that is.
If any.
Yeah.
Let me say, the only organization that I belong, I'm not a member of any registered organization so far.
Okay.
Let me say, public offices that I have held before, I've said I was an accountant in the ministry. I've worked with the Ministry of Finance for 18 years as an accountant. I've also served in Lafand, though for 7 months only. I've served currently now almost a year with the tribunal that is under the Judicial Service Commission. Okay. So those are the offices that I've held in public. If I have ever been adversely associated to practices of nepotism and whatever, no, I have not. I've always discharged my duties transparently and very accountable whenever I want to do whatever I want to do. Charitable works, yes. I did a lot, especially when I was a member of parliament, and even before, because people could not have known Rob if he was not participating in charitable. I was a board chair of a school called Kipteris Girls. I did a lot to the community in terms of building, food bridges, assisting them, because I was, of course, at least I had something that I did a lot in terms of judges and raising, and being a judge member, I cannot abstain from, helping in terms of that. So charitable works I have, and I did even when I was a member of parliament, even helped the women of Kipkelion. We formed a table banking that has just collapsed the other day when I left. That was assisting our women in terms of in generating, income for themselves. Okay. So it was.
Maybe one final, Chair, because I think he has answered all of them, and having benefit from having with Honorable Rob.
Just a second. Sorry, that majority. I think there are two that he has left on the issue of inquiries of referees. Do you have any issue if we contact them?
The referees, I do.
Do you have any issue we contact them?
No, I have no problem. Absolutely no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then I think the matter of references, that is the list of 3 persons who are not your relatives who are familiar with your character qualification. I want to believe we shall just pick the
Names.
three.
I'll give the names.
Yeah, in the CV. I think that is something that you had left out. There was also the aspect of whether you have been dismissed, so that we
No,
can.
I have not been dismissed.
Or otherwise removed. Okay. I think
The chair was now posing the last question, Chair. Having benefited from being in this house for a very long time now, Chair, we once felt that one CC the other time, and we asked him whether he would get time. She was a staunch Christian from the awards church. I don't know what is the name. And we asked him whether, if in case of an emergency, she would make maybe to the county on a Sunday. And the chair, she stood her ground and said, no, I will not come. Maybe my big question, by understanding Honorable Jackson Rock being a very staunch Christian, in fact, he is a pastor chair for this case, and trade being one of the strongest revenue collectors. And you see, the revenue stream, the bigger one in the Department of Trade, is that we are collecting money from the leaguers, the bars and the likes. And now you are being appointed to the same department. Assuming there is an issue that you need to attend to this bars and do inspection, maybe as a staunch Christian, would you be free maybe to enter into those bars? Because I also understand your background so much.
Thank you. I will follow the footsteps of Jesus Christ. When Jesus was in this world, he found a leper who had been lying on a pool, waiting to, be dipped when the angel comes. But this man had been lying there for 38 years. And when Jesus passed by, he asked him, what do you want? He said, I have nobody to help me to dip me when the angel comes. Jesus told him, take your mat and go. And he was healed. So if Jesus did it and it was a Sabbath day. So if Jesus did it on a Sabbath day, surely who am I not to?
okay. Then you are almost tempting me to pose a question to say, can we all say amen? But then we now proceed to the Honorable Dominic, and then I give to I'll give to the Honorable Anthony Ruto.
Thank you, Chair. Congratulations, Mheshimiwa Rob. I want you to state your net worth. Then I have some questions to follow. In the last report from the COP, Kericho County recorded the absorption rate at 8% of the development fund. With your first finance experience, as you have stated, you have worked as from the junior level at the district level to the highest level. How will you ensure the maximum absorption of the funds allocated to your department, that is the trade? This Honorable House passed some acts. Maybe you might be aware or not aware. There is an Enterprise Act.
Yeah, Trade Licensing Act.
Yeah, the Tourism Development Act, Trade Licensing and Market Act,
Correct.
Trade and Marketing Act,
Yes.
and Cooperative Act. How will you ensure that those resolutions and the acts passed by this Honorable House be implemented? I have a concern also on the issue of the revenue from the markets. If you see Kericho County at large, there are several and big markets. But the revenue being collected at those markets is one thing and very key. Most of markets can raise even as low as 2,000. But when you try even to count the people who are selling and trading at those markets, there is a lot of issue to do with revenue collection at this county, and we are doing poorly. What will you do as the chief CC in charge of trade and marketing and all those. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, Honorable Anthony Ruto, so that
thank you, Honorable Speakers. Who is also our chair, Mr. Rob.
Yes.
Tourism and wildlife fall in your docket. As a county, since the inception of devolved units, nothing much has been done or has been achieved in tourism and wildlife. And yet, it is supposed to be a revenue earner to our county. We have places like Chebulu. We have also historical sites in Fortena. We have Bagao. We have Tuluab Kipsigis. We have also Reresik. Substantial amount of money have been used in the name of promoting tourism in Kericho. But the value of money that has been pumped to the same has not been realized. Mr. Rob, if in any case you are given this opportunity to serve in that particular docket, what mechanisms are you going to put in place to see to it that tourism and wildlife is a revenue earner to our county? Another question. In 2014, Alcoholic Drinks and Control Act was passed by this assembly. Unfortunately, Mr. Rob, spirits and wines chains have mushroomed everywhere, even near learning institutions, residential places in our county. What mechanisms are you going to put in place, Mr. Rob, to make sure that the same is controlled? The last one. Wage bill in our county is wanting. It is an elephant in the house. It now stands at 42%. In your Department of Trade, some of the reasons why we are doing poorly in revenue collection is because of an acute shortage of staff. Here is a scenario whereby we are told that the wage bill is big, and there is also a shortage of staff. What are you going to do to harmonize the same so that your department can have sufficient staff and at the same time take care of wage bill? Thank you, Chair.
all right, thank you, Honorable Rob. You can take those two sets, and then we will go to the Honorable Maritim, the Honorable Cheria Bates. Maritimo, you are done? Okay, fine. And then Ezra. Okay, that is in that order. So, Honorable Rob.
Thank you, Chair. My net worth is around 62 million. But I also have some liabilities from the bank and other sources of borrowings totaling to around 3.4. So I remain with around 58.5 million. That is my net worth.
Sorry, Honorable, with such a net worth, in your own opinion, are you qualified to be referred to as wealthy? I'm just asking. A millionaire? And is this wealth in form of US dollars or Kenya shillings?
This is in Kenya shillings.
That is the most important.
This is in Kenya shillings.
Thank you.
Chair.
All right.
And I'm middle. I should not say I'm wealthy. I'm not also poor, but at least I'm somewhere, and I thank God for that. The 8% issue on development vote, that has been an issue in the county. I believe the implementation is the issue. You know, we can have very good strategic plans. We have nice budgets that has been sourced for by the department. But then when it comes to the implementation of those plans, it becomes a problem. So when I come in as a trade in CEC, I will assist the department to really think strategically so that whatever we have put down in black and white, we must implement, irrespective, because I have seen the shortage. The shortage is there. That should not be an excuse for non-utilization of resources. Then it means you didn't have a purpose to use for that money. So if you had set a budget, you had planned for it, the main issue is how do we implement those resources. And we will implement using the little or the meager human resource that is in the department. Because I believe they are also trained officers. If they are incapacitated, we give them the capacity training. We boost their knowledge, help them know what they are expected to do. And I believe it could be issues of also movement and what have you. But whatever means that we are going to use, we must use the little resources that we have to see to it that whatever we had asked for in our strategic plan, in our budgets, are utilized or implemented to the letter. That I'm giving you the assurance. Because there is no point, and I saw this when I was the Vice Chair Public Accounts Committee, many departments having underutilized their development vote, as you are saying. So it is very unfortunate that a department asks for money, the money is approved by this honorable house, and then the next day they are unable to use. Then you had no plans. You didn't know what you want to do. That is why you were just putting figures. I will not put figures without having a reason as to why I need that money. I must state very clearly that I need this for this, and I'll do it for that particular purpose. You talked of resolution and implementation. The acts that are in place, and I'm happy you mentioned almost all of them. This is a law that has been passed by this house. This generated and passed by this house. I, as a CEC, must implement. I have absolutely no reason as to why I cannot implement a law that has been passed by the house. Then I will not be the right person in that position. I must make sure that laws that are in that department are implemented to the letter, whatever was passed in this house. You've talked of low revenue. Low revenue in markets. I want to agree with you that there must be some leakages. For sure, there must be some leakages. There must be some pilferages that is taking place at the market areas. So one of the issues that we need to do is to automate. Let every payment be done online, so that the issue of giving someone a receipt manually, should cease. And if need be, and I will, if you approve me and allow me to be the CEC trade, one of the issues that I'll need is to budget for some CCTVs in very serious marketplaces where there are a lot of transactions taking place. Let us put something that can be used to know what really transpired in that place. Can we automate, put CCTVs in place? Let also the officers be motivated. Sometimes our officers, probably because of the wage bill, and we have talked, and the small peanuts they are earning, they might be tempted. But I'll do something. This is something that used to appear when I was in Treasury. When you are using a receipt book, for example, these clerks use what we call in accounts teaming and lading, so that I have 3 books at my disposal. I'll make sure one book that is complete, I pocket the money first, and start using the other one, account for this, ask for another book. When the other book comes, I'll collect money, account for the old one that I had kept in the, that thing. I'll make sure that if it is still a receipt that is being used, that receipt must be accounted for to the letter. Whenever you are accounting for money, whenever you are coming for another receipt, we make sure that even if you have used it partially.
Allow me to
Yes.
briefly
Yes, you are allowed to proceed.
So, the Honorable Jackson Rock, we know very well there could be several loopholes and leakages.
Yes.
As we collect revenue. I have seen your proposal where the checks and balances that you can use
Yes.
is actually accounting documents like receipts. Now, if an officer, a rogue officer, for example, prints his own receipt and uses the same receipt to collect revenue in quotes, how will you be able to know that the receipt that the officer is using is not like the fake fertilizer? How will you know?
I think me and my others, because I know I have other senior officers who are also trustworthy and can be used to, go make a sudden, just do a sudden check on a market on a particular day and look at the way the receipts are being issued. I already have, because these are accountable documents, I already have the number of the receipts and the receipt numbers with me. So when I'm going out to the field, I will want to see this permit that has been issued, this market fee license that has been given out, is it tallying with what we have in our records? If it is not, then I'll know there is a fake one that is taking place.
Now, the revenue streams in the county are quite a number. You can imagine a receipt in Jablanget, and a receipt in Tendeno, and a receipt in town, and a receipt in Sondo, and several other places. Will you have the capacity and the time? Capacity in terms of the time, the human resource element to be able to check whether this is original or not. I really would want to hear.
I know I may not have that time, but I'm saying in the short run. In the short run.
This is an area that this committee should really hear you very well.
Yes.
Because we have very serious issues in terms of meeting our revenue targets. Because we have not been able to meet our revenue targets, and we are not doing very well as a county. And when we are not doing well, development is affected. So we would want to hear you. What is it that you're coming in with the difference? What is that the different thing that you would want to propose?
Yes.
That you will use to check and probably improve in terms of revenue leakages and loopholes.
I will want to go automation almost instantly, because that cures and kills all these pilferages and leakages. Yeah.
That's just what we wanted to hear. Thank you.
Honorable Ruta.
Yes, proceed. Yeah.
Honorable Ruta has posed me questions on tourism and wildlife. Surely it is falling under my docket, and I'm sorry for statement that nothing is really being done in that in those two small. It's actually a division. It's a division of trade. Because we have 3 divisions. We have the trade and industrialization, we have the cooperatives, and then the tourism is a division of its own, and it should have a director. One of the biggest problems and the challenges that we have is that we don't have a substantial director in that department. I think the first thing that I should do once you approve me, or if approved by this committee, is to go and make sure that I lobby to the executive that we have a substantive director posted to this division, the division of tourism and wildlife. And once we sit, there is also a policy that had been developed, but so far it has not, it is still in draft form. I don't know why it is taking long for that policy to be approved. I will make sure that the policy is approved. I'll push for the policy to be approved. So that I
maybe
can.
to interject, Chairman.
Yes, proceed.
He's talking with the, maybe kindly tell us about what is the title of that policy. Then secondly,
The tourism policy.
tourism policy.
Yeah, the tourism
Number
policy.
2, you say that you are going to push for employment on some directors.
Information of the because those who are there are acting. They are in an acting capacity.
So you are going to push for a confirmation.
It ought to be. We should have a full director because this is a division of its own.
Then my next, maybe another question on the same. Are you aware of the wage bill in our county
Oh
government?
yes.
What is the percentage of the wage bill against the recommended wage bill?
The percentage so far is 42. And the recommended, and this is a national thing now, the recommended wage bill is 35. So if we seal all these loopholes and help the county increase the revenue.
I think, you know, the elephant in the room was
Is-
I'm sorry because I've called him
Yeah.
Waziri and he's a nominee, but how hard I pray that you get this position. You know, the big elephant in the room
Yes.
is revenue, engages revenue. Tell us, the Honorable Paul Chirchir has just asked you, you know, if there is someone who has vetted a lot of people, it is me. I vetted even including my chair now in 2013. And every other person is telling us, I will automate, I will automate. The people that sat in the seat that you are sitting today, we've had 3 people seated there for the last 1 year, seated vetting, and they are promising us that my first business is to automate. But I can tell you, out of the 3 who have sat in your seat, that is a very hot seat. One of them is already at home. The contract came to an end, and that is why you are seated there today, telling us about the same thing. I know, kindly try to give us a practical way that you are going to increase this revenue. And how are you going to automate? Because it is not majorly domicile in the department that you've been nominated to. No, majorly revenue is being done by finance. Unless you are telling us that this is just but a way I will deal with the executive so that you pay direct to finance, and unless you have some information.
No. Member Chair, through Chair, I have no information.
Honorable, before you respond,
Yeah.
you know we have to correct some issues here. Of course, I'm the chair. I'm speaking so that I give you time as you take your water. The Honorable Chair, of course, has alluded that he's the most experienced when it comes to vetting. Probably I don't have a gaugeometer to gauge who is more experienced on the same. However, you know very well.
I have vetted a lot of people.
Okay.
I have vetted for 2013,
Yes.
including yourself. You know, I vetted you, Chair.
Yeah.
3 times.
That is true. But what I'm saying, having appeared before a committee 3 times, and at the same time, now sitting here vetting, so you need to just same questions. So you need to know if we are going to gauge the Honorable Chair bit. I guess I'm more experienced, but that may not apply at the moment. But the thing, so that we don't lose track, is what the Honorable Chair bit is asking is the question of revenue. And just to, I think briefly, was it yesterday or the other day when we had that the wage bill, when we were preparing the budget, is almost at 42%?
Yes.
42 now at the moment. And he has also mentioned the aspect of automation. Of course, revenue collection, I'm not answering on your behalf, is that it is a concerted effort. It's a joint, requires joint efforts.
Correct.
And one of the departments, which is a key one, is, should you be approved by this house, is the Department of Trade, Industrialization, and all the blah, blah, blah. So I will expect you, maybe you as a policymaker, of course, you may have to tell the House the plan that you have, aware even than when you're the Member of Parliament, and that this aspect of revenue has been challenges. There have been so many challenges. Maybe as you answer that, you can just try to relate the practical aspect of it, and what are you going to do, since you will be the policy maker. You will be advising the government or the governor on the revenue streams which is linked to the Department of Trade. I think that should be the question really that should be framed, so that you can respond to that if you have any information. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. I think I've gotten the clarity. But you see, Honorable Bett, through you, Chair, said he has vetted people who have been saying they will do automation and they have never done.
Sorry, to confirm, because I was, now that he has mentioned, of course, for the purpose of record, and he is aware that we automated, at some point in time, we did automate revenue, and I think he must be speaking on the current situation, that at the moment, there is no system as we speak now that is working. But previously, of course, when I was vetted, I promised before the committee that I will automate revenue. And I automated, and they can confirm. In fact, the same assembly allocated resources to us then when I was the CC in charge of finance and economic planning. So I think whatever the Honorable Chiriot Bett, and now I guide as a chairman, is that you were out of order to refer that it has never been automated. But I think he's talking about this current regime, which if you will be approved, those are the challenges that you shall be facing as we speak now, and they can confirm, I'm told, that revenue is being collected using cash, which by the time we left, we had done away with that practice before. And you know you are an accountant, Mheshimiwa, and should you be approved, I can assure you, you will be among the people that the county government will be relying on this aspect of revenue. So maybe you can respond in line along that line.
Thank you for that.
Chair, allow me, Chair, to
yes,
just add something on that discussion.
Okay.
Honorable Rob, you talked about automation, and I think it's becoming a very long discussion. But our feeling here is that it's not just about automation, because if we talk about automation and the systems, the revenue structures are not working, automation will not deliver what we are talking about today. So as you talk to us about what you're going to do to improve on, as we look at the wage bill and the revenue issues, especially on your side, on the side of trade, cooperatives and all that, tell us what you will actually do, not just automate, because as the chair has indicated, we've had automated systems before, as much as we are working on a new one today at this moment, but it's still not giving us the numbers. So actually tell us, before even we talk about automation, what is it that you are going to do to make sure that we even know what we expect to collect in this county? Because we can have a system out there and collect few shillings because we don't know what is out there. So tell us some of these systems you're going to put in place. First, to know what is out there? How much can we actually collect as Kericho? Is it 2 billion? Is it, what is this that we can collect as Kericho County? What is this that you will use to collect that data, or to have your own systems of tracking where we are and what is being collected as we speak about automation? Thank you.
All right, you can respond now.
Thank you.
I think you have heard from the sentiments from the honorable members. I think the aspect of revenue is a key issue, yeah, and a key to the county government. So you can respond.
Thank you, Chair. Let me not then say automation per se, but I want to support the sentiments that when you were appointed, you did it. I also believe that given the resources to do, because I cannot do without the resources, I must have the resources, I must have a budgetary allocation for that, I will make sure I do the automation. But even then, we, as much as we are talking of what we are collecting, we must also think outside the box so that we can also increase the revenue streams, not only on business permits only, but we also have people who are doing business. Like now, I see people transporting, those who are transporting tea probably to other places, to say to Bomet, for example. Do they pay the cess that is required as they move this commodity out of our country, or they're just doing business and they are not paying anything to us? So I really want to think in terms of widening. It is also good to widen the bracket so that we don't limit ourselves to the existing, but also think how many other bodies can we bring in that can help in terms of generating revenue to the county. So I will sit and strategically work with the members, especially the CEC Finance, to look into the other areas that we can push into and get more revenue, as we are sealing the existing, because the existing are already there, but we must think outside the box to go further and bring